Hello guys and guides, today I'm going to show you how you can change your mic from sounding like this to make it sound like this. Alright, so to start off this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys what you need to accomplish this epicness. So first off, let's go to my web browser, and we're going to go to vb-audio.pages/perso-orange.fr/cable/index.htm. I will have it linked down in the description, so you do not have to type that in, God forbid. So anyways, when you're at this website, you can go ahead and download this free program. It's basically a virtual microphone inside of your computer that will take the audio from your real microphone that hopefully you have, otherwise I don't get why you're watching this tutorial, and it will take that audio from your actual microphone, and we're going to use a program to make it sound tons better, and we're going to output it to this virtual microphone, which you can then use in your recording programs such as DxStory, Fraps, Mirrorless Action, you name it, anything that supports a microphone, because it is a microphone, but it's a fake one that we're going to be using to make our voice sound awesome. Now, a second thing you're going to need after you download this from the website and put it somewhere like I did on the desktop, you're going to need to extract it. I'm just going to extract it here. If you don't have WinRAR and you want to extract it, just simply double click it. It'll open up, and then you just make a new folder on your desktop. New folder, name it mic, whatever. You won't need it after this. And then, just select everything inside your zip, put it in that new folder, and there you go. Everything's extracted out of that zip, and it's now in your mic folder. So we're going to want to go ahead and install that. So depending on what type of computer you have, you're going to want to select Setup or Setup x64. If you want to find out what your specs of your computer are, click here, go to this PC or computer, depending on what version of Windows you're on. Hit Properties, and then it should come up with this. Yep, just find where it says System Type, and it should say 64 or 32 right here. Alright, so once you're done with that, you can go ahead and select the respective setup. Since mine was 64-bit, I'm going to select x64. I'm going to double click that, and since I already have it installed, it shows Remove Driver here instead of Install. Now, it will fail if you don't do this. So close it, and then right click the installer, and then click Run as Administrator. That is very important, otherwise it will not install correctly. And then yours will say Install Driver right here. You'll just click that, it'll go through all the install process. You might need to reboot, just do so if you need to. And we're ready to move on to the next part. So now that you have your virtual mic set up, you can verify that it is set up by going down to the little speaker in the bottom right part of your computer, the system tray. Right click the little speaker icon and go to Recording Devices. Now, if you scroll down, you should see your actual microphone, the one that you've always been using, and then if you scroll down more, you should be able to see cable output. Now, if you see this, then we're good to go. If you don't see it, then you might need to try installing it again or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how you check to make sure your virtual microphone got installed correctly. Now what we're going to need to do is download a program called Adobe Audition. It is not free, unfortunately, but it is a really handy piece of software, and I use it all the time. I use it actually 24/7 whenever my computer is on, so that I can make my voice sound awesome on the microphone. And yeah, so I do recommend getting it. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be using for this tutorial. I'm sure there are alternatives out there, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna be using Adobe Audition. So yeah, if you want to follow along exactly to this tutorial, make sure you download it. I will be using Adobe Audition CC, which is the latest version as of this recording. If there's a newer one that has come out, it should work exactly the same. So we're gonna kind of go through, and it's gonna you know what? I was thinking about showing you the tutorial, but I'm actually using this right now to edit my microphone audio. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new multi-track session. So let me just simulate you opening up Adobe Audition for the first time. Alright, so you're going to open it up. You're not going to see any of this here. What you're going to do is go to File, New, Multi-Track Session. You're going to name this Microphone Audio Editing Live. Something like that. The name really does not matter. Template, none. Sample rate, just leave it at default. Leave all this at default unless you feel so inclined that you are, you know, confident in changing it. You really don't need to change any of this. Alright, so now that you've made your new multi-track session, we've got a clean slate to work with, and we're basically going to put on a whole bunch of effects. So first off, you want to set up your microphone to feed out into the virtual microphone. So to do that, go up to the top, click Edit, then go to Preferences, then go to Audio Hardware. Now this will open up this dialog. What you're going to want to select is your default input. This is going to be the microphone that you generally use for recording. Make sure this is correct. I have a blue snowball microphone, so I'm just going to click the blue snowball mic right here. If you use a different microphone, it's not going to be called blue snowball. Just select the microphone that you have. Anyways, the default output, make sure you click Cable Input VB Audio for Virtual Cable. Make sure you click exactly this, not any of the other ones, because that's our virtual microphone that we're going to be outputting to. And then latency, you're going to want to put this as low as you can, but if you put it too low, it starts messing with your audio and making you sound like really wonked out. So I found that 100 works the best. If you select 100 and then you start recording after following this entire tutorial, and it sounds really wonky, you can go up to 120. If it still sounds weird, 150, 200, you get the idea. And if it doesn't sound weird at 100, you can even go lower, but just keep in mind that at a certain point it'll start wonking out because it can't process the effects in time. Sample rate is just, you know, you should leave it at default. Don't want to mess with that. This is kind of important. The device class should be MME. If you don't see any of these options, you've probably got something else selected, so make sure you click MME and then you should see all these options. Alright, and then there we go. And you can hit OK, and we're ready to start the tutorial. Now, to set it up for real-time output, we're just going to go ahead and click stereo, and then we're going to click here the default stereo input. We're going to go to stereo and select your microphone. This is your actual microphone that you have sitting on your desk or on your headset or whatever. And then go to this little out arrow right here. Under master, go to stereo, and then select your virtual audio cable right here. Basically, that means they're going to be taking input from your actual microphone and then editing it and then outputting it under your virtual microphone. Now, to make this live, you're going to want to hit R and then I, and that's going to make sure it's exporting your edited audio microphone audio in real time to the virtual microphone. Alright, so now that we got that all set up right now, it's basically the same as using your regular microphone because we haven't really added any effects yet. So what we're gonna do is add some effects. Now I've already got a whole rack set up to make my voice sound awesome. So I'm just gonna load those up and show you what my settings are. Now these might not work for you, they might need a little bit of tweaking, but I'm sure with a little bit of experimenting and or looking any one of these individual effects up, you can come up with a really cool way to optimize your voice to make it sound better on camera and stuff like that. But this is what works for me, and I guess I might as well show you that because I don't want to delve into each effect and exactly what it does and exactly all that. So I'm just going to show you my settings and what works for me. So first up, I have a single band compressor. You can add that by hitting the arrow here and then going to amplitude and compression and then single band compressor. Here are my settings. I have it under custom, and I have my threshold at -25 decibels, my ratio at 2:1, and then attack at 0 milliseconds, release at 200 milliseconds, output gain at 12 decibels. That's it. Make sure that the little thing, the little power icon is clicked and green. That means it's active. If I unclick it, that means you're just not using it, but it's there. So next up is chorus. Go here to modulation, and then click chorus. And now this will give your voice a more harmonious sort of effect. So I have under custom yet again, voices 2, delay time 0.4 milliseconds, delay rate 0.1 hertz, feedback 0%, spread 21 milliseconds, modulation depth 0, modulation rate 0.6 hertz, unchecked, stereo field 100%, dry 176.2%, wet at 13.1%. Alright, so that's that. About halfway through. Next one up is adaptive noise reduction. You're going to want to click the arrow, go to amplitude compression, and then go to... Oh, it's not under amplitude and compression. It's under noise reduction / restoration, and then you click adaptive noise reduction. Alright, here are my settings. Reduce noise by 30 decibels. Noisiness is 30%. Fine-tune noise floor is 7.83 decibels. Signal threshold is 9.59 decibels. Spectral decay rate is at 284.65 milliseconds divided by 60 decibels. Broadband preservation is at 194.7 hertz. These are a mouthful. I'm sorry if I'm racking your brain with all these numbers. Next up is amplify. You can find that under the arrow and then go to amplitude compression and then amplify. So that is at left at 6 decibels and right at 6 decibels. This step is only because my microphone is generally really quiet out of the box. It is like extremely quiet out of the box. So this amplify you may not want to do depending on how loud your microphone actually is before this whole editing process. This is basically to make it louder. If you find it's too quiet, then you can add this effect and then bump it up a little bit and then test it and see if it needs a little bit more. You add a little bit more. You basically want to test this whole you're going to want to bump this up from 0 to make it louder if it's too quiet, and or bump it down if it's too loud. So this is up to you. This whole thing is decided by you. Don't use 6 decibels because that's custom to my microphone, the Blue Snowball, which is generally really quiet. So you may not need it. You may need to lower it. You may need to raise up the volume. Up to you. Multiband compressor is finally last, which comes after the amplify, and then you hit the little arrow. Multiband compressor is under amplitude and compression, and then you select multiband compressor right here. Double click it and I'll show you my settings. I have it under custom. You can basically see these for yourself because this is a lot right here. Basically, I had threshold at -2. All this stuff down here, you're gonna want to put in if you want to follow mine exactly. If you want to get close to what I have, you can click the presets and then go down to enhance the lows. Now that's pretty much what I have, except for I've tweaked it just a tiny bit. So you can just fiddle around with this or copy down my exact settings. It's up to you. Now those are all my effects settings. These may work absolutely awesome for you. They may not, in which case you're just gonna have to experiment around with these same exact effects, just change the values a little bit or even remove some of the effects. I don't know. All I know is that that is what works for me. Hopefully it works for you guys. Now if you don't want to mess these up and you want to save these, go up here and then click the little save button and then name it something. I named mine commentary. Press OK, and then since I already have one named commentary, it's asking if I want to overwrite it. Sure. And then there you go, you have it saved, so you can swap between them if you want 2 different styles. Now you can use this for a whole bunch of things. You can actually add in like a whole bunch of cool effects, like you can make your voice sound like a robot, and stuff like that. I think, yeah, there's a robot one over here somewhere. So I don't know, it can be used for fun, it can be used for practical uses. If you want to remove an effect, you just click that and remove. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now in your recording program, you're going to want to make sure the microphone for your voice is not your actual microphone that's sitting on your desk or on your headset or anything like that, but you want to actually select your cable input VB audio microphone, and that's the one that has been processed and edited and is sounding all nice and fancy. So the final step in all this is to save it as an actual file and make it launch when you start your computer. Now that'll make it so that you don't forget to start this whole program when you need to go and record. Of course, you don't have to set it up so it starts automatically with your computer, but I just like to do it because it saves me the hassle of forgetting and then realizing that my audio is not good. I can always edit it after the fact, but that's a whole nother ball of wax, and it's just a lot of work for every video that you make. So this is really awesome and saves me a whole bunch of time. So in order to save this and start it up with your computer, you're going to want to go to File, and then you're going to want to go to Save As, and then you're going to want to name it whatever. The same name as your project is fine. And then you're going to want to click Browse. Actually, I think, yeah. I want to click Browse, and then I'll go to my desktop, and then hit Save. That'll save it to your desktop right there. Once you click OK, make sure your format is an audio session. Include markers and other metadata. It doesn't really matter. And then click OK, and then it should be on your desktop now. So now you have this file, but how do you make it start with your computer? So to make it start up with your computer, we're going to do two things. You're going to want to move this file to where you're going to leave it like forever until you decide to stop using this method for any reason. So I would suggest moving it to like your My Documents folder or somewhere out of the way. I would say desktop, but then it would just be sitting there taking up space. So just put it somewhere. It really doesn't matter as long as it's out of the way. And then once it's there, I'll just leave it on the desktop for the sake of this tutorial. But you should put it in My Documents or whatever. And then you're basically going to want to right click it wherever it is. Might not be on your desktop, like I just said. Click Copy, and then go to this folder right here. C/program data /Microsoft/Windows/start menu /program/startup. Now that whole long bit of text will be in the description of this video. So basically you can copy it, click up here, paste it in, and then hit enter, and then it should take you to this folder. Now there may not be anything in this folder, but I have already put in a few programs in here to start up automatically with my computer, so that's why there's stuff here. Now basically what you're going to want to do is right click in the open space, hit paste shortcut. Do not click regular paste, click paste shortcut. Now it's going to tell you that it can't paste a shortcut here. Click yes to put it on your desktop, and then from there you can just continue to drag it in. I don't know why it does it, but yeah. And then there you go. Now it has a little dash shortcut thing after it. You can get rid of that. It's personal preference. Yeah. Anyways, the shortcut is now in this folder. Now the shortcut points to wherever you have this original file, which for me is on the desktop, for you probably in My Documents or whatever. But here, now it's set to start up automatically with your computer, and it's all good to go. The problem is when you start up your computer, it's gonna be like open full screen like this, and you're gonna have to minimize it every time you start up your computer, which might get a little bit annoying. So to save you the hassle, you can right click on it, hit Properties, and then under here where it says Run, click Minimized, Apply, Continue, OK. So now whenever you start up your computer, it'll start minimized. You won't even see it, and it'll be doing its thing in the background. So that's pretty much it. Just make sure before you save that you have the little R and the I activated, so that whenever this starts, whenever you start up your computer, those are ready to go and you don't have to go and turn them on. So if you followed this tutorial, it should work. And then basically when you start up your recording program, you're going to select the virtual cable input as your mic for the recording, and it'll go ahead and start recording your epic audio. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If this helped you at all or saved you any amount of time with the whole audio editing process and making your voice sound awesome, make sure you leave a like on this video, and it is much appreciated. It's the least you could do. And then subscribe if you're new. I've got a whole bunch of videos on my channel. I'd love to see your beautiful faces in the comment section of my future videos. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's almost everything. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. folder, and there you go. Everything's extracted out of that zip, and it's now in your mic folder. So we're going to want to go ahead and install that. So depending on what type of computer you have, you're going to want to select setup or setup x64. If you want to find out what your specs of your computer are, click here, go to this PC or computer depending on what version of Windows you're on, hit properties, and then it should come. We're going to go to vb-audio.pages/perso-orange.fr/cable/index.htm. I will have a link down in the description, so you do not have to type that in, God forbid. So anyways, when you're at this website, you can go ahead and download this free program. It's basically a virtual microphone inside of your computer that will take the audio from your real microphone. Hello guys and guys, today I'm going to show you how you can change your mic from sounding like this to make it sound like this. Alright, so to start off this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys what you need to accomplish this epicness. So first off, let's go to my web browser and phone that hopefully you have, otherwise I don't get why you're watching this tutorial. And it will take that audio from your actual microphone, and we're going to use a program to make it sound tons better, and we're going to output it to this virtual microphone, which you can then use in your recording programs such as DxStory, Fraps, Mirrorless Action, you name it, anything that supports a microphone, because it is a microphone, but it's a fake one that we're going to be using to make our voice sound awesome. Now, a second thing you're going to need after you download this from the website and put it somewhere like I did on the desktop, you're going to need to extract it. I'm just going to extract it here. If you don't have WinRAR and you want to extract it, just simply double click it. It'll open up, and then you just make a new folder on your desktop. New folder, name it mic, whatever. You won't need it after this. And then, just select everything inside your zip, put it in that new